The Modern Man tutorials. Being a man. Being a man is more than biology, right? It's not enough to be over the age of 18 and to have a penis. That's not enough to be a man. That's a basic requirement, right? Especially if we're talking about biological men, right? Biological males. Then yes, biologically you're going to need to be 18 or older, and have male genitalia. So then, after that, is the mindset, because it's not enough to have the male hardware, right? The male body. You also have to have the male mentality, the male mind, right? And then you have to learn how to be a man. It's no different than learning, how to ride a bike, or learning to become a doctor. You're not born a doctor, you learn to become a doctor. Just like you learn to become a man. And usually, you learn it from your father, your brothers, your older brothers, or just older males that you see in life, and you learn from them, right? You learn right from wrong. That's the most important thing, is learning right from wrong. Learning that something is wrong, and then choosing not to do that wrong thing, right? Like cheating is wrong, right? 'Cause that's a betrayal. You're betraying somebody. That's wrong, and you shouldn't do it, obviously, right? And then you get into, making decisions, right? Making good decisions, making decisions that benefit people, benefit you, benefit others. It's always better to make a decision that creates a win-win situation, or a win-lose situation, but it has to be lose on your end. Most people are selfish. They don't want to lose, so they rather be in a win-lose situation where they win and the other person loses. But that's selfish, and that's what most assholes do, right? That's one of the problems in society, is selfishness. And individuality is selfishness. Self-love is selfishness. The true root of all evil is selfishness. That's why some people value things that they shouldn't value, like money. There's people out there that literally thinks money makes a man. It's like, no. A man is a man, right? A man makes himself a man through his life experiences, through his knowledge, right? Through his accolades. Money is just a tool that anybody, especially a man, can use to do things, right? So money has a use, but it's not important. It's who's using the money that's important, and what they do with it that matters. That's why it's always annoying to see people try to equate money to importance when it's not. Money is not important. It's what you do with it that's important. So if you're doing good things, well, you're doing good things. But think about it, there's tons of bad people out there with money doing bad things. And we're not going to say that they're valuable, that they're important, that they're good people. Of course not. They're bad people and they got money, right? So the money is irrelevant. It's who they are that's the problem, right? Even Hitler had money. And we're not going to say that he's a great guy. Common sense. So this idea that money equates to a good person is false. This idea that money equates to manhood is false. It's not. It's a tool. It's just like a hammer. What matters is who's using the hammer and for what purpose. Because if you're using the hammer to break things, then you're a piece of shit, right? You're just breaking things with hammers instead of building things. So it just matters on how you use it that determines its usefulness. But other than that, it's the person, right? Money don't make the man. Man makes the money. Common sense. Or it should be common sense. So then you have to take that into consideration, that you gotta learn from others' mistakes, right? If you see a whole bunch of other guys doing things wrong, or doing wrong things to other people, make sure you don't do the same thing, because then you'll be in the same category. And this brings up the initial reason why I'm even making this video, was the idea that I hate the fact that people keep using the word men and women when they want to say something bad. When they want to talk about the male and female gender, They use the word men and women, not realizing that you're saying bad things, but you're saying men and you're saying women, and men and women aren't bad. That's the whole point. Being a man is supposed to be a good thing, not a bad thing. Being a woman is supposed to be a good thing, not a bad thing. So the fact that you have people out here who are doing bad things, being pieces of shit, but labeling themselves men and women is disrespectful to the term men and the term women. You're not men, you're not women if y'all pieces of shit. So we gotta stop giving people that label that they don't deserve. They don't deserve to be called man, they don't deserve to be called woman if they're pieces of shit. That's just common sense. And it's very annoying when literally you'll have somebody, complaining about men this, men that. And even when you're talking to them, because this happens to me a lot when I'm talking to the ladies on TikTok, even when I keep correcting them on the whole, like, you're not talking about men are awesome. You're talking about males, you're talking about fuckboys, you're talking about assholes, pieces of shit, you're talking about guys that we do not agree are men. And clearly, based off of your complaints, these guys aren't men, and you clearly agree they're not men, but you can't stop saying the word men because you're so brainwashed to think that just because a guy has a penis, that makes him a man by default. And it's like, it does not work that way. His character, his behavior is what determines if he's a man or not. And clearly, most of you ladies don't know what a man is and what a non-man is, because y'all keep labeling pieces of shit guys as men, and they're not men. This is why we got content creators out here creating content to teach guys to be men, because they're not men before they watch the content. But after they watch the content, they'll learn a thing or two about how to be a man. And one of those things they're supposed to learn is to stop being a piece of shit. Is to be a decent human being, to be considerate, compassionate, caring, right? Give a fuck instead of not giving a fuck. Improving yourself physically, mentally, socially. That way you can be better. That way you can be out here with living a better life, because you get along with people, you get along with the ladies, so that you don't have female problems. I don't have female problems. Right? If I was to say I had one, it would be I don't have enough ladies. Not that I have, problems with females. I'd rather have problems with the ladies than problems of not having ladies. Right? That's the worst problem. That's a problem most of you guys have, is that you don't have no ladies in your lives. And some guys do have ladies in their lives, but then they have, lady problems. You have problems, communicating with them, getting along with them. You definitely have problems with leading them, because they happen to be walking all over you and you allow it. Right? So there's that. So you got incels out here that can't get the ladies. You got betas who can get ladies, but they get run over, right? They get, they're under the chick's leadership instead of the other way around, right? And that's where things fall apart. That's where things don't work, when they're using you as a doormat instead of, benefiting from you being a man, being a leader, being the one who keeps them on track, so that way they can be happy and prosper instead of constantly complaining. Because think about it, think about it logically. If a chick's in leadership but she's still complaining about the relationship, then that means she shouldn't be in the leadership position. That's what I see a lot. Chicks talking about, I want to be in charge, or a partnership, equality, all that nonsense, but it doesn't work. They're never happy in those type of dynamics or situations. The scenarios I always see, they always seems to work, and they always talk about they in love, and how happy they felt being in a relationship is when the guy was in charge, when the guy was making all the decisions. And we know what it boils down to is psychology. It boils down to, the whole daddy thing. They like to feel like a little princess, and they need a man to make them feel like they're a little princess. And the only one that typically makes them feel like a little princess was their daddy. So of course, they're gonna have what we call the daddy issues. And they need a daddy. And this is why you got grown-ass women calling men daddy. I have some chicks calling me that. So that lets you know that that's true.